Hey, welcome back to the shop. This is Zach over at NV Woodworks, and today I'm going to talk about the Comet II lathe, kind of a follow-up to my first video. The first one was really more of an unboxing type of deal, and realistically I didn't really have much experience with a real typical type of lathe. I was using a Shopsmith, which isn't exactly the same. So basically I think I've been on this thing for at least 6 to 8 months now, something like that. So I've gotten, quite used to it, and I think it's time to kind of go through and kind of explain, how does everything work, and is there anything that I notice now that I'm not too happy with, anything that I'm even happier with now. Alright, so first of all, overall I'm pretty happy with it. Now, I am having an issue. The bearings have been heating up in the headstock. And I actually have one of these supposedly, in July I called Teknatool and they were going to actually ship me out a new lathe. Now it's September and I haven't gotten a new lathe, so I don't know what's going on with it, but I've continued to use it. It still works, but I don't know what the deal was, and they said basically if it's a bearing problem we're not going to have you repress them. So have had an issue with it, but I mean it still works. It just, there's something wrong with it. Now, another thing that, and I haven't looked at this. This is something that just started happening. My tool rest. And I don't know if the bed is kind of crooked or something, but it won't tighten very well. It can move. So I need to look into that a little bit. But generally, other than that, it's working pretty much fine. One thing, and this has nothing to do with this specific lathe. I want a bigger, heavier duty lathe someday. That's something that I want, but generally this thing works for your smaller projects and everything works pretty well on it as far as I'm concerned. So we'll just kind of go through all the little features here. So if you open this up, it's got the 3-speed belt, and it also has variable speed over here. So generally you can kind of get by on the middle one if you're just doing general stuff, spindle turning. You can generally use just the middle, but for certain things I'm getting to the point with my turning that I just wind it out. I'd rather turn something really fast speeds because I get better results. So I'm using the high speed a lot more, and I rarely use the low unless I'm drilling or doing something weird. One thing I don't love is this stupid knob thing to open. I just want a quick release thing on this. I don't want to sit here and unscrew this cover forever so I can get into here. That's one thing I don't like, but that's nitpicky stuff. So if you're going to change the belts, what you do, you got this this hand, whatever knob thing here, and this moves the motor up and down to release the tension on the belt or tighten it. So you pull it up and you just, flip it over to like any normal kind of belt system. I'm not a huge fan of this method of changing speeds personally. I'm not that used to it, but I mean it works fine. There you go. So then you just tighten it by doing that. So that's your major speed change right there. It's got a spindle lock. So, which is nice if you're unscrewing the chucks or your face plates. It's nice having that lock. I actually really like that. Now, having said that, if you forget to unlock it and turn the lathe on, that's some serious problem. So, always spin your thing and make sure everything's loose and can work before you turn it on. The lathe came with this faceplate actually that's on here. It's the screw normal faceplate. I don't use that much. I use a 4-jaw chuck. So I'm using it right now though. I'm doing a segmented bracelet on here. Tool rest is it generally moves and works pretty quick and easy. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is the metal on this tool rest is really soft and it's just pretty much jacked up. So I'm not a big fan of that. And it's fairly short, so this generally works for small stuff, but if you're trying to do a longer spindle or something, this thing is way too small. So I'd recommend getting a different tool rest part and you'll be better off. The other thing is, if you're using the Easy Wood tools, the carbide, I think, I haven't done it yet, but I think I want to get a flat tool rest, a bar that has a good amount of just flat metal. I think it'll be easier to work with one of those rather than this kind of weird angled thing. Not a big deal though, everything works fine, just nitpicky stuff. So, this lathe also has reverse. So I'm going to put my glasses on. And we got forward. That's great, works fine. We got a variable speed here. But it also has reverse, which when I bought this, I had no clue what the point was. But it actually is useful to have reverse. When you're doing stuff from the side, you can easily see this side of the wood rather than this. Otherwise, you're bending over trying to get in there. So that is one advantage to having reverse. The other thing is for sanding and different stuff like that. So, pretty nice. It also has in the middle of those two, it has like a lockout that's off. So if you get this lathe and you forget to put this in, forward position and you're trying to turn it on, nothing happens, check that switch. I kind of got worried the first time I started mine up. So, a couple other things. So it's got a DC motor on it. I don't know if that's special or different or better or not, because I don't have any experience with anything else, but it seems to work fine. One thing, you have to break this motor, you have to break the brushes in when you first set it up. So make sure you do that, or else you can actually kind of screw this up. You basically have to like run it for like half an hour straight, just sitting there, no load, to get everything broken in. So that's something a little bit different, I think, than most of your typical lathes. Anyway, overall power, it seems to be pretty good. On the highest belt and at like high speeds, I can definitely make this thing slow down. I don't know what that means, but it is a little underpowered for certain things. I think that compared to something like one of the big Powermatics, or maybe just a full size jet or something like that, I'd imagine that this thing would lose every time for power. However, being a tiny little bench shop lathe, it really works fine. The power's fine to handle quite a bit of stuff, and I do work with some rough stuff. I just don't work with big stuff. So some of the woods I work with are pretty hard, and so I'm not really easy on it necessarily, but I think it's fine. So I don't know. Other than that, customer service at Teknatool was good. They took care of my problem a little. I didn't expect them to replace the lathe. However, I don't have a lathe, so I'm kind of, it's a toss right now. I just haven't called them because this thing's been working. So I'm going to call them this week and find out where my lathe is or what's going on. But generally, they've been really good. So I'm not going to ding them for me not calling back. They may not have gotten an email that I was supposed to send them, because I never heard back about that. So generally, I think that Teknatool is pretty good with their customer service. Overall, I think this product is pretty good. I think there's definitely better lathes out there on the market. Going forward, I don't know that I would go with a Nova in the future for one of the bigger ones, and that has nothing to do really with the product. They're DVRs, I think that's pretty much their flagship for the most part. The bigger ones, they don't seem very big. I think that there's bigger, heavier duty ones, and I think I would probably choose one of those in the future, but I don't know. We'll see what the price tags of all these things cost in the future when I make my decision. But overall, I think it's a pretty versatile lathe. I think you can do quite a bit of stuff with it. I think that for the price, I think it'll let you do just about anything you want to do for $500. So not a bad lathe. I like it. And if you have any other questions, if I forgot something, I probably did, but I just wanted to kind of get something up there and say, hey, I've been using this thing for a while now, and I like it. Generally, I like everything about it. So, couple issues, but it still works fine. I still get work done on it. So, the issues aren't big enough for me to worry about. So, that's about it. So, if you have any questions, again, leave a comment down below on YouTube or on my website. And if you need to get a hold of me, my email is zach@nvwoodworks.com. And if you enjoy these woodworking videos, I'm going to be producing more, so subscribe to my channel to get all the updates when they come out. Thanks a lot.